You ever notice how some people have everything come so easy to them while other people have to struggle just to keep their head above water? Well, get ready because you're about to find out the reason why. I'm Nathan Frazier, and today I'm going to reveal to you 3 secrets of success they don't want you knowing about. Okay, so first of all, growing up poor, I struggled with money a lot. Even starting my own business, it took me 5 businesses before I finally figured out what I was doing and was able to actually make decent money off of being an entrepreneur, owning my own business, doing my own thing. And growing up, I always struggled with, why do the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor? And of course, growing up poor and in a leftist household, I got all of the anti-rich propaganda. The rich are holding you back. The system's set up for the rich. And I'm going to say something that's not very popular with my current audience, and that is that there is some systemic oppression out there. There are things in the system built to keep the rich rich and the poor poor, but it's been my experience that that is a very minor impact on the success of an individual in the long run. Because now, where I'm at in life, I really feel like the outside hurdles are nothing compared to the inside hurdles. And once somebody is able to overcome their inside hurdles, they're able to leap over the outside systemic hurdles that might have been holding them back before. So if you don't know anything about me, for the longest time, I was a perpetual struggle bunny. I just struggled at everything. I just could not figure out how to be successful. Like I said, I ran 5 businesses into the ground. One crazy idea after another, wasted a bunch of time, wasted a bunch of money, and just never seemed to be able to get that traction on the road to success. And also, I mean, if you look at me, I've got face tattoos, I dress like a thug, I don't talk with proper English, I'm a high school dropout, and I come from a very poor background, welfare, food stamps, Section 8, the whole lot. And again, just by looking at me, I am not bound for success in the corporate world, so I had to figure something else out. My first 5 businesses made a little bit of money, learned a whole lot, but I ran every single one of them into the ground. And even though I learned, and even when I succeeded, I still struggled. It was always an uphill battle for me. And even when I started learning how to make money, even when I started learning how to do copywriting and marketing, it was still a struggle. And it wasn't until I started writing for other business owners that I had my first real revelation, the first of the 3 secrets to success that I'm going to share with you today. And that secret was pretty simply, stop chasing money. Stop trying to get money. Stop working so hard to go out and catch money. Instead, just look at where the money's going in society and put yourself in its path. And it sounds stupid, but it was so revolutionary to me. Instead of always trying to go out and catch money, just put myself where money was going and let money come to me. And when I looked at it that way, I was like, well, who's spending a lot of money? Business owners spend a lot of money. And what do they spend a lot of money on? Well, they spend a lot of money on marketing. And if you can take that marketing and turn it into more money for them, if they can pay you $5 and you can turn it into $15, they'll just keep paying you more and more money. And I was pretty good at marketing. I was pretty good at understanding what triggered people to do different things. After years and years of studying propaganda and media, I had a pretty good idea of how to get people to do the things that I wanted them to do. And I said, well, why not use this in my business? And then other business owners started coming to me and be like, hey, why not use that in our business? So instead of trying to convince people to give me money, I just found out what they were already spending money on and found out how to convince them to give it to me instead of the next guy. So if you're trying to sell something in your own business, instead of struggling, trying to convince people who aren't really your target market or aren't really in the market to buy, instead of trying to convince them to buy, go find the people who already want to buy and start putting your message in front of them instead. And when you're crafting your messaging, make your messaging about what they want to hear, not about what you want to say. Sell them what they want to buy, not what you want to shove down their throat. And then sell them more of that or sell them similar and related things. And probably the best thing that came out of this for me, out of learning how to market, out of working with other business owners, out of working with people who were way more successful than I was, because I was always struggling trying to get my businesses off of the ground. And now I'm working with people that have $1 million a year businesses, $10 million a year businesses, multi-million-dollar businesses. Now, working with people like that, shows me a totally different reality than what I was thinking was possible. I see some of my clients making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month, and I'm thinking to myself, if I can just make enough money off of my business to replace my income, I'll be happy. No, seeing that, having my vision expanded and seeing what was really possible just opened up a whole new realm of success that I was able to reach. But until I saw it as possible, it was just impossible for me to actually reach it. Without being able to see it, there was no way I'd ever be able to believe it. And without being able to believe it, there was no way I'd ever be able to achieve it. Up until then, I was constantly struggling because struggling was the only thing I thought was possible. And that brings us to success secret number 2. You can't go past the limits of your imagination. So this sounds a little bit woo, and I don't want to get into all the mystical ramifications of everything, but I do believe there is something to the law of manifestation. One of my favorite authors, Neville Goddard, he always talks about assuming the wish fulfilled. Live as if it's already been accomplished. And in my opinion, the secret behind that is if you don't believe something is possible, you're not going to take action to actually make it fulfilled. You're not going to take the actions that are needed to do something if you don't think that you're going to have any success in it. If you don't think it's possible, you're not going to take the actions necessary to actually make it possible. So believing that it's possible, believing that it already is, and then acting from that position, yes, it's a little bit woo. Yes, it's a little bit fake it till you make it or put the cart before the horse, but there's power in belief. Only those who actually believe will be able to take the actions necessary to make it come to fruition. And not only do you have to believe that you can do it, you actually have to believe that you deserve it. People who stumble upon success or stumble upon like a lottery winning or they inherit a bunch of money from one of their relatives, people that stumble upon something that they don't believe they deserve, they have this weird thing where they try to push all of that money, all of that success out of their life as quick as possible. It's like we have this internal wealth and success thermostat and we have it set at room temperature wherever we find it most comfortable. And when a bunch of money and success comes in, it's like the door opening up and a cool breeze comes in, but all of a sudden it's too cold for you. So you got to get back to that comfort zone. You got to spend that money. Or sometimes it's a really hot day and you're feeling the heat, you're feeling the pressure, you're running low on money. So you hustle, you go out there and you do everything you can to be able to make ends meet so you get the rent paid and the car payment paid for the month. And then you go back to normal. So whenever it gets a little too hot or a little too cool, you have this thing inside of your brain that says, I don't deserve this. I'm not comfortable with this. I need to get back to my baseline. So if you don't believe you deserve success, if you don't believe that you deserve financial freedom, you're never going to be able to achieve it. And this opens up a whole nother can of worms about a whole bunch of other self-limiting beliefs that I don't want to go down that rabbit trail today. Probably will save that for future videos. And then some people just don't believe that it'll ever happen for them. They have a problem for every solution. They see all the reasons why something won't work, and they don't see any of the reasons why something will work. They see struggle. It's always struggle. And I'll admit, in my own life, there's certain things that I struggle with as well. But when it comes to success, when it comes to running my business, when it comes to doing what I want to do for a living and making good money doing it, it's not that much of a struggle anymore. So you have to believe it if you want to achieve it, and you have to act as if it's already been done. And that brings us to success secret number 3. You can't force it. You have to let it flow. Now, there's 2 ways to go through life. You can go through life in forceful mode where you're just constantly pushing and forcing and manipulating and just pressuring things to happen the way that you want them to happen. Or you can go through life in flow mode where things just kind of come to you and the universe opens up doors and opens up opportunities and reveals the path for you, and it doesn't take very much effort on your part at all. That's the difference between force and flow. And the thing is that force always makes things harder. It's always going to come with a bunch of struggle. So if you are a struggle bunny like I used to be, and you want to be in struggle mode, or struggle mode is the only thing that you think is possible, it's probably because you're trying to force too many things in life. And the problem with accomplishing things through force is it always requires more force in order to keep it maintained. That's why authoritarian regimes, dictators, fascist governments, they have to use force to get themselves into power, and then they have to constantly be exerting force in order to keep that power. That's why the Soviet Union fell apart as soon as the government ran out of bullets. It's why forced relationships are so toxic. And it's why desperate salespeople always struggle to meet their quota. I know it sounds woo, but it's true. When you honestly believe that you deserve something and you're ready to open yourself to the possibilities, the universe will start revealing paths for you, will start opening up opportunities for you, will start delivering that which you are looking for. When the student is ready, the master shall appear. You have to give up the force and start living in the flow. And I don't know if it's magic. I don't know if it's a hack in the simulation. I don't know if it's just some kind of weird subconscious communication that human beings have going on with each other that we have no idea. We haven't even tapped into it yet. But there's something to it. When you stop trying to force things, things start happening for you. And going back to that internal success and financial freedom thermostat that I was talking about before, we can see examples of this. We see people win the lottery and they go back to being bankrupt 3 years later. We see people get signed for these multi-million-dollar deals for a sports team, and then as soon as they retire, they're already broke. And then on the flip side of that, we see people that are used to wealth, used to success. They make a bad business decision, they plummet into bankruptcy, and then within 3 years, they're back on top of the world again like nothing happened. And this is why I don't think socialism will ever work. Because think about it. We could take all the money in the world, we could divide it up equally, give everybody the exact same amount of money, and by tomorrow, there'd be people who had more money and people who had less money, because some people would take their share of money and start investing it in things that give them money back, and some people would go out and blow that money on stupid shit like rims and jewelry and fast cars that immediately start losing value the moment you drive them off of the lot. You see, most of the rich people that I work with, they've figured out this stuff. They've either had it explained to them, or they kind of figured it out through trial and error, or maybe they had it drilled into their heads by their parents as they were growing up. They believe that they deserve a pampered lifestyle, and they have these secrets of success ingrained into who they are, into their identity. But think about the beliefs that we have as kids programmed into us as we're growing up. And when I say us, I mean the lower class and the middle class. And even though I don't totally identify with that anymore, I'm not forgetting where I came from. We get told things like money doesn't grow on trees, or you have to do hard work in order to make a living, or the system's just rigged against us. But do those beliefs set us up for success in life, or do they set us up for a lifetime of struggle? So there you have it. Those are the 3 secrets to success that they don't want you to know about. And actually, the truth is, most of the successful people that I know can't shut up about this stuff. They wish that everybody knew it. But like I said, there are some systemic things in place that keep these secrets from the masses. But now that I've figured them out for myself, I wanted to make sure I passed them along to you. So those 3 secrets are: number 1, stop chasing money and instead put yourself where the money is flowing. It's like that old hockey analogy. Don't chase the puck, put yourself where the puck is going. Secret number 2, your success maxes out at the limits of your own imagination. If you can't believe it, you can't achieve it. So start believing in yourself and start thinking bigger. And then secret number 3, you can't force it, you have to let it flow. The tighter you squeeze your fist, the more grains of sand slip between your fingers. You have to learn to let it flow. All right, my name's Nathan Frazier. I hope you got some value out of today's episode. If you did, you might be a good fit for my private community. We call it the FMS Mastermind. FMS like First Master Self. And if you want to check out that and see if you are a good fit, head on over to fmsmastermind.com. And until next time, I'm Nathan Frazier, internet marketer with face tattoos. I'm out of here. Deuces. All right, it looks like I have some explaining to do. Some of you are listening to this and you're like, that wasn't the dark arts of marketing. What the hell was that? And let me explain. I don't want to do just the dark arts of marketing anymore. I want to expand a little bit. And I love marketing. I love being able to talk about persuasion and influence and manipulation and tie it in with some lessons about propaganda and what's going on in the world today. I love that. I have a huge passion for it. I love marketing. I love talking about marketing. It's my life. But this other stuff that I talked about today is some of the stuff that's had more of an impact in my life than just marketing. And I know that the rule in marketing is pick one topic, niche down on it, only serve the audience that one thing that they want. And my audience wants marketing. And I'm very blessed for what this podcast, what this YouTube channel has done for me with just the small amount of subscribers, how it's been able to turn into a viable financial endeavor for me. I'm super appreciative of that. And I understand that I might be running a risk by trying to venture off into a couple of different side tangents and switch up the dark arts of marketing and turn it into hack the matrix, which is what I'm doing. And some people might say, Nathan, that goes against all the rules of marketing. Niche down, only serve people what they want. Don't give the audience something that they're not asking for. And I get that. And I have to say, you're just going to have faith in me, because out of all of the people that I work with, all of the people that I work for, all of the people that I hang out with and get to know, and lately over the last year or so, I've been being able to hang out with like multi-millionaires and starting to see the stuff that they're geeking out about. It's not all about marketing. A lot of them don't care about marketing. And yes, marketing is great for their business, but when it comes to actually succeeding in life, it's some of this other stuff, the stuff that I explored today, some of the stuff that I want to explore further in future episodes of the show. And so you might say, well, that's not what your audience wants. But I think that out of all of my clients that I've worked with, and with a lot of the people that I've talked to that are vastly more successful than me, both clients and not clients, just people that I get to meet in the work that I do, this stuff is very important to them. This stuff is the stuff that they wish other people knew about. And I have the platform and the access and the ability to get this message out to people. So it's going to be beneficial for my target market. It's also going to be beneficial for the people who were or are where I was at just a few years ago. This is the stuff that really changed my life, that changed everything for me and made everything a lot easier and made it to where I'm able to do the things I love doing now. And I want to pass that on. People passed it on to me. I want to pass it on to you. So if this isn't up your alley, if this isn't the thing that you tuned in for and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to tune out, I appreciate you giving me your time up until now. And there's an unsubscribe button, and you can find it and you can unsubscribe. But if you listen to this episode and you're like, yeah, I'm feeling this and I want to see where he goes with this, stay tuned, because I've got a lot more really awesome stuff like this planned for you. And I appreciate you giving me your time and hanging out with me today and letting me explore this new path that I want to walk down with you. I'm Nathan Frazier, internet marketer with face tattoos, high priest of propaganda, emotional manipulator for hire, and I'm out of here. Deuces. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're subscribed so you always catch the content we create for you in the future.